Let me know if you can hear and see me. Oh, you're all in your places with bright, shiny faces. Good morning, NorCal. How are you? Can you hear and see okay? Yay. Very good. Okay. All right. Today we're finishing our door hanger, our door banner, our beautiful door banner. I've got all my pieces embroidered and all of the stabilizer, most of it picked off, all of that. I also have some fusible fleece for when we got it all sewed together. I got some backing, and we'll use this for binding too. And today we're just sewing. We're not doing any embroidery. Good. I'm glad to hear that. Haptic in my hands. Yes. Very good. Okay. All right. So I think we're ready to get going. Ready to get going here. So let's open our book, our instructions, and they tell us how to sew it together, right? Because the very end here, let's see. Okay, assembly. And you want to pay attention to how they're assembling this, right? Cornerstone A and cornerstone B. I just go by colors. I know that this is my first block, so I kind of kept them together. Okay. And the reason we have to pay attention is because this border needs to go all around our block. The same, I sewed mine wrong, had to unpick it the first time I did it. And I didn't realize that I needed to keep this border around my blocks. So set the other ones aside and look and see what we're going to be doing here. So if I follow the picture, following the picture here, I'm going to put my cornerstones like that. And right, so you have three that have these two. They're all the same, okay? And then you have one that's, you know, one of these things that don't belong, but that it does belong. It goes to the border to the next one. This is the border of our second block. So let's follow that. They want the dark on top and the light down below. And then we're going to build it like this. Like that. Okay. This is what it's going to look like. And then we have this border that's on the inside right here. And our other two cornerstones are with my other block. So is that making sense? Can you see that really well? I think so. So this is what we're going to sew together. So if I get my second block, I'm going to go ahead and get my cornerstones on from my second block because I'm going to want to sew this all together. So I need from my second block that I kept together here, I'm going to get these cornerstones. And this one goes on this side, and this one goes on that side. And I'm just following the picture. You can see that we have this border here with our green border. Okay, now I'm going to put this back together so I don't mess it up. Okay. Are we is that clear as mud? As I like to say. We have a rainy day. We're having a hot day. And it just keeps getting hotter and hotter. Hotter and hotter as the week goes on. Okay, so this is what we're going to sew together first. I'm going to use clips. I mean, I could use pins. I'm going to, whatever I find first, pins or clips. Okay, so I got some pins here. I found some pins. This is supposed to go on your wrist, but I'm not going to do that, I don't think. So let's pin together our first sew. So I'm going to put this one here. I'm going to put this one here. And I'm going to put this one here. And this is what I'm going to sew together first. Okay, so I'm just going to line it up. I'll put a couple of pins in mine. You don't really need to pin. I mean, you know, if you're an accomplished sewer, you probably wouldn't need to pin that. Okay. These short little sews are easy to hold together. And I am using my Seam So Easy. Yeah. I don't have a computer, but I'm just using my phone.
No, I'm good. Are you okay?
Yeah, I can read it. So I'm just going to pin. I like to pin. I'm a pinner when it comes to piecing. So I'm just kind of lining that up. They line up pretty good. Let's put a couple of pins in here and then we'll go over to the machine. Alright, so I'm going to go like this and like this. So I know what I'm doing and I'm going to go over to the machine. And that is, oh, let me get to my screen right here. I'll adjust the view if needed. So here's my Seam So Easy. And this has the lines for the middle, quarter of an inch on each side. And then, you know, it has the grid here. So I love this thing. This combined with the 1/4 inch foot, which I don't have today.
Do you need a 1/4 inch foot?
Yeah, that'd be great. Just for the regular, not that one.
So that thing right behind your.
I looked in here.
No.
Feet.
Oh.
Oh. Yeah.
I'm gonna hold this. No, just.
Oh, just like that. Okay. Well, it won't stay up there. Oh, okay. I'm finding the feet. Yay. Any help I can get with a 1/4 inch, I'm in.
Of course, I'm not seeing anything. Here.
You got it? Yay. Yay. So this is the 1/4 inch foot. Has a little flange. I love my 1/4 inch foot. And with my Seam So Easy, if I'm not lined up, it's 100% on me. Okay, there we go. Oh, thank you.
We have neglected Karen. We used to come in here and we would baby her. And we'd be like, oh my God, what else do you need? And now we're like, oh, hey, get in the hole.
I can set myself up. I can start the live.
God,
I'm
so
a big
funny.
girl. I'm a big girl. I can do it. Yeah. You guys are so busy out there. Let's see. There we go. So I snapped on my 1/4 inch foot. I'm going to see. Can you see? My hands are covering. So let's see. If my hands are here, where would I want the camera?
Your t-shirt has this right here, so I can.
And you can see that flange is lined up just with my line here. So I'm going to put my material right in there. And it makes it so easy. All right. Make sure. Wake up. Wake up, Mr. Avenir. Okay. So I'm just lining that up. Making sure that my material is lined up. You guys see okay? I mean, you know, I'm just sewing here. Just putting it together. Oh, okay. He woke up. Okay. Just kind of keep it right there. So I'm lining up here and I'm lining up there. I've got all these chances to get a perfect 1/4 inch. Okay, and I'm not going to cut that. I'm just going to, what do they call that?
Chain piece?
Chain piece, yeah. I'm just going to chain piece that together. All right. Again, I'm watching my line here. I'm watching the flange. Uh-oh. Let me make sure I'm lined up. Okay. There we go. Just looking at the comments, the questions. I missed it. What is the template? Oh, this is Lori Holt's Seems So Easy. You know how you can put the tape on your machine? Well, this is just like the tape, but it has a wider grid, and you know, it doesn't mess up your machine as far as, like, I don't know. I prefer it because the tape curls and gets all messy and everything, and I love my Seams So Easy. And like I said, anytime I can have help with my 1/4 inch, I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna take it. There we go. So I'm lining it up with this line down here. I've got my flange. So I should be pretty darn close to the perfect 1/4 inch. Okay, I'm gonna cut. And I got my chain pieces. And we'll go over to the cutting mat. There you go. Okay. So what we can do goes this way. Did I do it? No, it doesn't go that way. It goes this way, right? Did I do it wrong already? What did I do? How come this one's up here? Did I pick it up wrong? I must have picked... No? Yeah. What did I do wrong? How could I have messed that up? Okay. I move that chair. Hold on, I gotta get situated. Okay, garbage. All right, so I'm supposed to have, let me cut these. Let me cut these apart. I don't understand how I could have done that, right? So it's supposed to be, what did I do? I wonder if I did it like that. And then just move these over. Is that what I needed to do? Did I have it upside down? No, because my hearts are upside down now. No, they're not. So this would go like this would go like this, and this would go like that. Let's look at our picture. I'm losing my ever-loving mind. Right? not supposed to be up here, right? OMG. The first sew and I mess it up. Look at me. Look at me go. No, I'm right. This goes here. Right? Get that and that. Okay. And then the next one. Oh, now I'm getting so darn confused. No, I'm good. Wow. That was... See how easy it is to get discombobulated? All right. Pins. Let me grab these. What is that? The strip on the left is turned. Yeah. It's so easy to get upside down. I wonder if anyone has an affiliate link for seams. Oh, she sells them here. They should be on the website. She sells them here. I know she does. The Seam So Easy. So if they're not on the website, give the store a call, and because I know she's got some right here. I know it. She's got them. Okay. I have that Seam So Easy. Yes. Yes, use it. I have the straight stitch machine, and I just keep mine on that because I do most of my piecing. It's if you do any piecing, you should have it, and it just makes such a difference. And I'll show you when I get over to the machine. If you're doing any half square triangles, anytime you have to sew down the middle. And they say mark all your pieces with a line diagonal. They want you to mark it from here to here because that's where you're going to sew, or you're going to sew on each side of it and cut it. Yeah, you won't have to do that anymore if you have the Seam So Easy. I'll show you when you get over there. Yeah. That's worth whatever it is. It's not expensive at all, and it's just worth its weight. Ow. Okay, let's pin this last one. So yeah, you do any half square triangles, it makes a huge difference. All that time, I did the exploding heart, and it's nothing but half square triangles, and they're only like 2 inches. They finish at 2 inches each, I think. What the heck? And you do about 500 of them, I feel like. And okay, so that should be good. Trying to get upside down here. Let's go over to the machine. So let's say I have to sew diagonal on this from end to end. I can just put my point here, make sure my point is straight under the needle, and then just sew it. I don't, if you have, I would use this and if you have a laser line, I use that too. But that gets you end to end, just follow that in the middle and you're going to be spot on. Now, if you have to go to the either side, then you just put your point here and sew, and you'll be 1/4 of an inch from the middle, and then you would flip it over and do the same thing. I don't use this one. I use this one again. Is my hand in the way this whole time? So yeah, you just keep your point there and you just sew, and you'll be 1/4 of an inch from there, from the point. And then you would cut down the middle and you have your 2 triangles. It's It's so worth it. And, you know, when we put the binding together, you guys will see I will use this for that. Especially, you know, if you're making a quilt, now I'm going to line up here. I'm going to try and, if you're making a quilt, you know, you want to be accurate as you can possibly be. And I'm just going to go. Okay. I'm sewing with my shoes on, so. Okay, I'm going to line it up here on my line. I'm going to put it up next to that flange. There we go. Put my foot down manually and move it. There we go. Oh, come on, grab it. Grab it. There you go. You gotta talk to your machine. Does anybody else talk to their machine? Me and my machine have long conversations about what I'm sewing. You never know with AI, maybe the machine's listening. Okay, I got those together. All right, and linked. Let's go back over here. And now I'm going to give it a little, I should have plugged the iron in. I'm going to give it a little press. I like to press in between. It's not plugged in. It's right here. There we go. There we go. All right. Let's turn it on. It's on to cotton. All right. So this is what we have so far. Isn't that pretty? Ah! 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 See what I did? Okay. This is the What Not to Do show. Out comes Jack to save the day, right? Oh, no, it'll just take me a second. Just take me a second as I fumble with my, come on. Jack doesn't want to work today. It's like, did you mess up again? That's what Jack is saying to me. Okay, gotta pay attention, right? This goes like that because we want our border. All right, back to the machine. I'm waiting on the iron anyway, right? It's okay. It's okay. It doesn't matter if you get a perfect 1/4 inch if you're sewing the wrong pieces together, right? I just want to check and make sure you're lined up under there pretty good. Okay. Now, if I did it again, I'm going home. No, I didn't. I did it right. Let's go back over here. Back and forth, back and forth. I'm going to press. Now, it doesn't tell you how to press, I don't think. But I think I'll press the middle out and these in. And then they should nest, right? Yeah. So let's do that. So this is how we want to hold it. The piece that you are, nope, I want it this way. I want this in, right? Yeah. The piece that you want your seam to go towards. No. All right, so I'm just going to do these this way then. Okay. But yeah, pay attention to your seams. Okay, these are going that way. I'm going to go in with these. I'm going to go in towards the middle block. Because I want them to nest, which is another, you know, another way. You got to make sure that you're nesting so that these little corners will line up as good as we can, you know. Okay, those are going in, these are going out. These need to go out. Looks like they already are. Okay, so now we have a nice little press on here. This big iron. Okay. So now we're going to flip this way and we're going to nest these seams. And you can see, I don't know if you can, but they are going to come together. They're going to butt up against each other, and that's the first pin I'm going to put in. I'm going to make sure I put my glasses on. Okay. Make sure that they are solid, locked. And then I'm going to put a pin to where I'm catching the flap on this side and the flap on this side. And then that should hold it nicely. Don't really care what's happening over here. I can make that work, whatever it is. I just want those intersections to meet, you know. I might have a little bit of room in here, so I'm going to put a pin in here just because I'm going to have to ease that in. Now let's go over here and do the same thing. And we're going to put them up here. And even on top. If you have a little hangover, line up these. Don't worry about your little hangover. Okay. Again, I'm going to catch both little flaps in my pin so that it doesn't move. Let's line it up good. Okay. And let's put one here in the middle because see, we've got some easing in to do. And when you have this, you want big on bottom. Think bob. Big on bottom. The big piece is you need to, so that needs, the feed dogs need to catch this stuff. And it should. I'm going to put lots of pins in here. Just to make sure, so I don't like that. Let's see. I'll lay this down. But yeah, I want to make sure that my intersections meet. And I'll use that in the best I can. Okay, so let's go over there. Try not to get a pucker, right? We don't like puckers. Nobody likes puckers. Okay. I have my bigger piece on the bottom on the feed dogs, and that's what you want. Sew right up to your pins, but don't sew over your pins. I know sometimes, and if you need to sew over your pin, get right up to your pin and then turn the wheel and go slow. Because sometimes you do. Sometimes you need to sew over the pin just to keep it locked and whatever. It's, you know, especially when you're trying to piece something that's being stubborn. Okay, I'm going right up to my pins as close as I possibly can. And I think we're good. I don't think we got any puckers there. And I think hopefully I still have my intersections. Lined up. But we'll see, you know, it's always a surprise, isn't it? When I think I've done really well is when I open it up and I'm like, ah, what happened? All right, let's go over and see what we got. Did I move you guys over? I hope I did. I hope I did. You found it. Excellent. You are gonna love it, Michelle. You're gonna love it. You're gonna know, you're gonna think, how did I even sew without it? Get out, Jack! Yes. Yeah, Jack has to make an appearance in every single one of my sew-alongs. All right, so I've got polyester here, so I want to be careful. I don't want that on my iron. So when you have stabilizer like this, it's polyester, so it's going to melt. So don't just put your iron on there. And all right, let's see. Drum roll. Hey, we did pretty good. Look at that. Oh, but I got a pucker. Look, I don't like that. I do not like that. Okay. So, I'm going to deal with my pucker here. Deal with my pucker. I don't like that. Mother puckers, right? There's Jack again. Okay. So I'm gonna resew. You know, I want my intersections to be perfect, but I don't want a big pucker in the middle of my door hanger either. If I were going to quilt this, you know, I might not, because quilting helps with a lot of that. All right, so I'm just going to be off. It'll be off just a little bit, but that's okay. So I'm going to straighten this out. Boy, we're doing a lot of resews. I'm like, oh, this should be a nice, easy sew. I've done it a million times. Well, not a million. I think I've made 3. I've made 3 so far. Okay, I'm going to put a pin in the middle of this because I just don't want a pucker. And I may have to sacrifice my junction here a little bit. I'm going to try and ease that out this way. Still get my... Okay. All right, look at all those pins for that tiny little section. Sometimes it just wants to be a naughty. And that is today. So because I'm starting, I'm going to go back a couple of stitches just to lock it in. Let's see if I can't. Okay. What? My bobbin's almost empty. All right, let's see what we got. Okay, let's go over here. Okay, here we go. I'm a little off, but I don't have a pucker. So I'm just a tiny bit off. Think anybody will notice? You guys see? Just a little off here. Just maybe 2 stitches. mean, you know, I'm not that much of a perfectionist. Another thing you can do, which I've done, is measure, you know, put everything out and measure and make sure that I have good measurements of everything. Okay. Again, I'm going to line up my little junctions here. Okay. Put the pins back. Alright. This is so cute when it's done. Oh, and I made a pillow for my sewing room. A pillow that I have a little chair in there that, you know, nobody sits in. Well, my cat does. My cat does. Some easing in there too. A little short. Don't you love quilting? I actually do love quilting. I like piecing. I like quilting. I love all that stuff. What foot am I using? I am using the 1/4 inch foot. I'll show you. Let me move you over. I'm using it has this flange here. And that's what you put your fabric right up against that flange. And then that's 1/4 inch away from your needle. Oh. Yeah. So I have that flange. Oh, you know what? I'm out of bobbin, right? I forgot. Okay. Where's my, here we go. All right, so I'm just going to lift this off. And keep the tape on it. And I'm just going to grab a pre-wound. I'm just going to grab a pre-wound and throw it in there. I don't think this will get a lot of washing. I wonder what happened to the bobbins. They used to be right here. Oh, here they are. Okay. Just grabbing a pre-wound. When we're doing the binding, I do have a green color. It's going to be a green color wound bobbin. Okay, let's put my. So when you install this, you want to make sure that you're not on the feed dogs. That's about the only requirement. And you have your 3 lines on your little cover for your bobbin. You can line up one of these lines with your plate, and that should be fine. And then I just put some tape down. Oh, I'm a little off. I don't like that. I mean, just barely, but let's see. Get overhead. There we go. Put down the tape. And we're back in business. Okay, I've been dropping pins. Gotta pick those up. All right. Right up to that pin. Pull it out at the last second. Yep, this is the part that I need to kind of ease in here. I'm going to get closer to my pin. Okay. All right. Let's see how we did. I'm gonna put my pins up here because I keep knocking them on the floor. There we go. All right, let's see what we got. It's always a surprise. Oh, I think we did pretty good. Well, no, we're a little off here. We are a little off there. But, you know, what are you going to do? We try as hard as we can. But there was something about this side, right? This side. Yeah. Didn't ease in very well. But, I mean, it's okay. It's okay. You might, you know, if that bothers you, this is not, then rip it out. This side's perfect. Isn't that funny how that works? This side is a naughty side. Okay. I'll show you my pillow. You want to see my pillow? Look at my pillow. Isn't it precious? It's so cute. It's a little 12 by 12. I just love it. It sits in my chair. Looks so cute. Okay. Need a distraction from this, right? Look at my beautiful pillow. Okay. All right. We're on to block 2. This is the border for block 2. Okay, gotta remember that. This is the border. So our sew goes there. And I can already see how much bigger that is, right? And border here. Border here. Let's just sew those together. And then on our third block, we'll sew it like this. All right? Okay, let's do it. I'm going to pin both sides just because I don't think they'll get in the way. Hopefully. And then I don't have to come back over here. Both sides this way. With all the stabilizer and stuff, it's kind of hard to see if you're lined up properly. Lining up here is kind of important too. It's just makes it lie better. And if that part, you know, if this part out here is like all wonky or whatever, pin it down here. All right, let's go back and sew these 2 sides. Okay, drop my foot, line it up, get going. Sewing with my shoe on. It's funny how dependent you get on sewing with either a sock or my barefoot. It just feels different. Okay. So adorable. Oh, it is adorable. Hello. No one will notice. It looks great. Right? I know. People tell me that all the time. Don't point out your mistakes. I know, I do that all the time. I'm very bad about that. Okay, there's our sewing machine. Let's go back over here. Let's just give it, I'm going to do this. Let's see. These seams are going out that way. So I want these seams to go towards my sewing machine here. So I'm going to hold this one up. And I'm going to shimmy that on there. And then I'm going to do the same here. The piece that you want it to go towards, you hold it up. And that should be good. Let's go ahead and sew it. Let's go ahead and sew it to our banner, shall we? Try to line up those intersections. It's always fun, but they should nest. That should help. Okay. Catch both of those little flaps in there. Ah, these pins are dull. Okay, there we go. Let's get this side. Yeah, this. I don't want any puckers. Okay. So what are you guys sewing? Are you sewing this? Are you sewing something else? I had to drink water. It's so dry here. I feel like I have cotton mouth. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I think this will be good. So we'll go over to the machine. See if we can't. This thing does come together really quickly. And just looks adorable. I'm going to hang this one on my sewing room door. It'll match my pillow. How cute is that? Okay. There we go. Whoa. Okay. Put these pins up here before I knock them on the floor. Cut. And let's go. Let's see what we got. Okay. Fingers crossed. That looks pretty good. I am gonna, yeah, that looks really good. I'm going to get this ironed. Yeah. Pretty, pretty, pretty. Oh, seams are thick. Okay, we'll give it a good iron when we're all done. All right, on to the third section. This is so cute. Every time I make it, I'm like, oh my God, I love this. Oh, that needs an ironing, huh? Okay. Where those go away? All right, let's look at our picture because Lord knows I don't know what I'm doing. Okay. We're going to have, let's see, these are our hearts. And it looks like we have one like this and one like this. And like I said, I'm looking at the picture here. Yours probably won't have that, but I'm looking at this picture here. So there's a dark one and a gold one. And our inner border on this one looks like it's this lighter purple. Okay. So, how can I, oh, see, I have one. I have to find the one that has the right border for my sewing machine. Got to make sure I put that down there. Okay. Gold, and then the dark, and then the light, and then the light. Let's sew that together. Let's sew this together. And then we'll sew these, and then we'll add it to our machine. That'll be done. Sorry, I'm trying to stay in camera here. So cute. So many different colorways you can do with this too. Okay, there's that. I'll go ahead and pin this on here. Look at the comments. So cute, I know. Are you going to make one, Michelle? You're so barefoot too. I know, it's just, I don't know. I feel like, you know, because I can feel more, I'm more in control. I don't know. It's just more comfortable, isn't it? But I don't have carpet in my sewing room, so that would scare me because I drop pins and stuff. Okay, let's go over and just sew this one quickly. It's poking out there. I'm just going to kind of pull the bottom piece a little bit just so they're lined up. Not much. If there's a whole bunch, I'm not going to tweak it that much. But if it's just peeking, I will. I'll scooch it in. Cut. I love my Seam So Easy. Is that threaded? Yeah, I guess it is. Okay, calm down. Wants to go. I should just slow it down on the little button up here, huh? That way, if I forget, I can do that. Isn't that just amazing? That was one thing when I upgraded from my, you know, little $100 sewing machine from Joann's to one of these machines. I'm like, oh my God, I can slow it down to nothing. So nice. Okay, there's that. There's that. All right, we gotta try and yeah, that should go. Well, we're a little short here. All right, let's try. Let's try and put it on our banner. Which way is that going? Yeah, they should nest. They should nest. Here we go. I like it when a pattern tells me which way to press. That is like a quality of life thing for me. Because, you know, you have to think about it every time you press if they don't have that direction on there. I'm going to have to work this one in. This one's a little big here. I don't mind a little hangover, but I don't want like a whole 1/4 inch or whatever. Okay, just pin the middle of that. Looking baggy there, but hopefully we'll be able to. Oh, we got some bag here too. There we go. I'm gonna pin the you know what out of this. Just to make it mine. Hopefully it will. I don't get the dreaded pucker. Here we go. Getting longer. Okay, That's a nice pace. I like that pace. Don't you dare pucker. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh. Oh, I don't like that. Okay. I might have a pucker there. I'm going to have to check. I'm sticking my fingers in there, but just trying to keep it flat. I might have a little pucker back there. I don't know why. Like I said, I've made so many of these, and of course this one is going to give me the most problems. I think I do. Let me look. Yep, I do. Oh. Just going to reset this little area here. I hate puckers. Like I said, if I'm going to quilt this, there's going to be like an intricate quilting on there, I don't mind a little pucker. These are kind of big puckers, though. I'm just taking this one stitch out. I'm hoping I can straighten it out a little bit. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Okay. Yeah, let's see. Yeah. Hopefully. Let's do it from this side. I'm going to go back a couple just because I want to lock it. Okay, I won't. The machine said no. Okay. Well, at least you're kind of learning what to do when it won't cooperate. I need to add it to my growing list. Yes. I know. There are some things, yes, I think that's better. Yep, no more pucker. We got it. There are just some things that make a huge difference, in your sewing room. And like I said, anything that will help me with my 1/4 inch, I'm in. Count me in on that one. And it's really an expensive way. It's it's not like buying one of those laser things or whatever, which if your machine doesn't have one, that's something to really consider. It's really nice to have. Some things are nice to have, and others I just can't live without. Okay. Let's see how this is going. Cause see, look at how puckered I am already. I tell you, well, okay. So here's our saving grace, and I forgot about this until now. We are going to fuse some fusible fleece on this. So when we do that, some of these, wrinkly looking areas should straighten out. That's a helpful using fusible fleece instead of adding on something like this is helpful. But it's adorable regardless. I can't wait to hang mine up. I'm excited. I just walk into my sewing room and I just smile, and a smile just comes on my face. I just love my sewing room. Okay, let's go. Let's go sew it. Okay, looks good. Yeah, got right up to that stitch. But didn't get into it, so I'm happy. I'm happy with that. Okay. We are getting there. Let's see what it looks like. I need to fix anything? No, we're looking good. Looking good. Let's go back over and iron. A lot of ironing. Okay. Which way are these going? These are going out. These are both going out. So these need to go in. So I'm going to lift up this piece because I want to go towards that one. And I'm going to press. Okay, same here. I want it to go towards this piece. We'll do it like that. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and put it on our banner. Just moving right along. Snug those in. Oh. Pin this other one. Get it snugged up. Looks good. Pin. Now we'll worry about these. I need to grab some pins. I've been collecting them at the machine here. Okay. So that over here, get this one. Finding it pretty good here. I say that and then, you know. We jinx ourselves. Okay. I think that's pretty good. So let's go sew it. Got a little bit more to maneuver around here. Okay. There we go. Okay. Let's see what we got. So how many of you guys here are going to the, oh, that looks really good. A little off there, but not bad. It looks good to me. Going to the quilt show here in Reno. Is anybody here going? I love the quilt show here. Oh my gosh, look, we're almost done. Of course, I haven't been to like one of the huge ones, but all right, let's see. They want green on this side and the light blue on this side. So, I'm getting excited. I like seeing all the new stuff, and you know, a lot of the vendors have like kits for some really pretty quilts or just projects and stuff. I just love seeing all that stuff. Make sure I'm going the right direction. go sew it. Almost done with our little banner. I'm making this look a lot harder than it is. It's actually very easy to piece together, and but that's my superpower. I make things a lot more difficult than they should be. And I'm just used to it because that's me. It's just how it is. Okay. All right. Do some ironing. Okay, let's look at these are going in. So we want these to go out. That's easy. Okay. So let's do that. Okay. Now they should nest. And they do. Do you have any questions about nesting seams? Does everybody kind of understand what that means? If you have any questions, I can show you. Just let me know. I know some people, might be really new to sewing. We have all these words for stuff that, if you're new, you don't understand, and that's fine. But ask, and you shall receive the answer. Okay. All right. That fit pretty good, so let's go sew it. I don't need any more pins, I don't think. Okay. Look at us go. Okay. Okay, see how that green's peeking out a little bit? I'm going to get under there, and I'm just going to kind of scooch it with my hand. I'm going to go right up to this pin because it's holding my seam. I'm going to go slow, 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 slow. There we go. Hopefully I got it. Okay. The combination of the 1/4-inch foot and the Seam Sew Easy is, you could just zoom along. If you weren't worrying about, intersections coming together and all that, you could just zoom. Okay, let's see our banner. Okay, down this way. Oh, it's pretty good. Pretty darn good. I'm happy with that. I think it's so pretty. So, so pretty. I've seen so many pretty colorways on Facebook of this. I just want to make them all. Good iron. Because now we're going to start getting it ready to hang. Getting it all put together that way. Well done with that. Okay. Now, you can, and if you were doing a big quilt like this, I would have measured each block and made sure that it was, within 1/8 of an inch what it was supposed to be. And stuff like that. But I didn't do that with this one. Sometimes too, if I have a quilt block that's like really off, let's say 1/2 inch, I will soak it with Easy Press, and then I will actually stretch it and pin it to my wool mat you know, all stretched where I want it to be. And I'll pin it and I'll let it dry overnight. And that really makes a difference. If you have a block that is just all wonky, just get it nice and wet with a starch, and then pin it to your board and let it dry, and then give it a good iron. And I'm telling you, it works miracles. That is just, so I can't remember who I learned. It was a YouTuber, and I can't remember who I learned it from, but or I saw her do it, and I'm like, oh, that's genius. So, little tidbit there. So now let's get out our fleece. Let's put our fleece on it. I cut my fleece just a little wider, not much wider, but it's a little wider. So, of course, you have the gritty side, and that's the side with the. Now this is where you can kind of smooth out stuff because it's going to stick, you know. Got a little pucker there that we still have a little tiny one. You know, let's try and get those things out with this. Okay, I just have a little tiny mat here, so I have to do a little bit at a time. Normally I would take this to my ironing board and you know, really get aggressive with it. So yeah, just kind of do that, and we'll just start getting our batting on here. You don't want to get your iron on that batting. We'll turn it over and do it from the other side too. Okay, but we just kind of stretch it out, get it nice and smooth as we can. You know, use the fleece to kind of iron out anything you don't like. Let's get this one here. That's what I did. I just kind of stretched it out a little bit, not much. I don't want it to look, you know, I don't want to get it all wonky. But I can smooth out some things, right? It's looking good. I'm going to cut this bottom off. I'm a little long. And I will cut off the sides too. I'll do that with a rotary cutter, I think. We want our, which way is our seam going? It's going this way, so let's make sure our seam is going the same direction. You don't want part of your seam going up and down, then you'll have a big bump in here. Okay, so, and they can get, these seams are a little thick because they have the stabilizer and stuff in them, so sometimes you just gotta make a mind. Okay, so I got that down. Now I'm gonna turn it over, and I'm gonna do it from this side, and that way I can get all the edges. Now the iron doesn't like to move around on this too much, so there's gonna be a lot of pick up and press. Pick up and press. And just get those edges. Doesn't have to be perfect. What are we going to do next? I'm going to cut these off, and then we're going to get our backing on here, right? I don't have my backing cut to size, but that shouldn't take too long. I'll try and get these sides as much as I can. You could also take it over to the machine, or if you have a serger, and zigzag around the edge. That'll all be hidden by the binding. So you could do that. You know, just take it to your serger and cut all that off, and that would be easy, huh? Yeah. Okay. All right. There's my little. There it is. Look at that, and see how we have our borders. See how we have our borders. All of our borders are the same. This is really the only important part of this whole thing. Ooh, yum. Just set one aside for me, honey. I got pizza. Okay. We got our backing. We got our backing. How's everybody doing? I know, I love it too. I have like a bazillion layer cakes. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this would look good. This would look good. I'm looking at all my layer cakes going on. But how many do you need? Of course, you know, you could just make them and then force your friends to take it, right? You have to take it. It's my gift to you. Okay. I'm going to kind of tidy up here because I need the cutting space. And I don't want to... I don't want to cut on something I shouldn't. Okay, so I've got my backing. Look at my pretty backing. They have some more left here. Thank you. Okay. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is get rid of these edges of my fleece. Okay. And yeah, she has, I'm going to reach, I'm going to get in the way of the camera. I'm going to grab it. Here we go. Okay. I got a nice long ruler. And now you can kind of square it up. And how I square up is I would put my ruler, you know, along this seam here. And then I don't want to cut that much off of my glue though. So I'll move it over. Move it over here. And you might have some fleece on here when you're squaring it up, and that's fine. It's all going to be hidden by the it'll all be hidden by the binding. Use your words, Karen. Use your words. Okay. All right. And again, look at this seam here. I mean, you know, it's a wall hanging. It's not a quilt that's going to a museum. But you want it to hang good. Good. You want it to hang good. You want it to hang proper. I don't know. What's the word? Trash. There we go. There's one side. Let's just do the other. I'm going to flip it around. Okay. Again, I'm going to find that seam. And then I'm going to go close to the edge I can. Not taking off too much material. I don't want to do that because, you know, all of my little border pieces here need to be kind of the same, looking the same, right? So, because we're going to have binding too. Okay, there we go. And that's going to cover some of our little strips there. And we don't want them to disappear. Okay. And line up here. This doesn't really line up. It's one of my off ones. So, I'm just going to kind of go across here maybe. As straight as I can. All right. There we go. Let's do the other one. what, it's going to be gorge. This is gorgeous. I hope you all make this, and I hope you hang it up somewhere in your sewing space, because I guarantee you it'll make you happy. It'll make you happy when you look at it. And that's what we need, right? Is all the happy stuff around us. Okay. We are not quilting this. You could. You could at this point put the back on, maybe go through some, you know, but I'm not going to. Okay, here's my backing. I'm kind of limited in space here, so I'm going to look cramped because I am. Okay. It is long enough, I think, yeah. So it's long enough, the width of fabric. I think that's what I'm going to use. So I'm just going to put this here, smooth it out, put it right up to the selvage. You know, that's probably pretty straight, right? Let's go ahead and use the top. Okay, and I'm just going to rough cut first with some scissors, and then I'm going to cut with my rotary. So I know you can't see me, I'm down here doing a rough cut. I'm close, but okay, there's my rough cut. Now I'm going to start cutting it off. Just like we did with the salvage, or with the fleece. Get rid of the salvage. I don't want to cut any more off of my banner, so I'm going to line it right up. Okay. And I'm just going to cut off my salvage. Oh, it's not hooked together, Karen. Here we go. You should probably pin it, maybe. That would be a good idea. Anyway. Yeah. You could pin it. Be smart. You could be smart. Have a big brain. I don't have a big brain. I muddle through. Okay. Go ahead and cut this bottom. Okay, that's a good piece. I'm going to keep that one. Throw the salvage away. Now we're going to do the other side. And I'm trying to hold this together. Hold it together. Flip it. Make sure it's lined up. There we go. See, again, I'm making, well, I'm working at a very small space, so this is not normally how I would do things, but, you know, you do what you do what you gotta do, right? There we go. Now, I'm going to put a couple of pins in here, now that I've cut it. Maybe just in the corners, just kinda, so I can move it around and it won't get off track here. And how are you guys with binding? Do you love it? Do you hate it? I actually enjoy binding. Am I a weirdo? I think I enjoy it though because I know it's the last step. I'm like, woohoo, I get to bind. It's the last thing to do. I'm just pinning this so that it won't fall apart when I move it around. Crazy pinner. Okay. All right, there's our backing. Isn't that pretty? Pretty, pretty, pretty. Okay. Okay. Binding. Now, I'm just going to take this. So okay, so let's find out how much we need, right? Let's find out how much we need. I do have I'm going to measure this. Okay. Mine, because everybody's going to be different. Mine is 29. It's probably a different on this side. You never know. Nope, 29. So we're 29 by 12. Yeah, so 29 and 29. So we'll just say 60. Both sides. 60, 12, 72. So let's cut 10 inches more, 82. Yeah, 82, 90. Just, give yourself some grace. This is usually 44. We can find out. Let's see. I'm just going to fold it in half and measure this. 10, 18. Yeah. 18. Really? Put it on 10. Yeah, 28. So 36. All right, so I'm gonna cut it on this side. So let's see what this is. 16, 32, 32, and what did I need? About 90. Quilt math, right? Ugh. Hate it. I usually have to write these things down or I forget. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of line this up. And if this is, what did I say it was? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. About 15. So we'll say 30, 36, 9. Let's cut 3 of them. Right? And I have 2.5. This is a little peek into how my mind works. Oh, you don't want to go there, right? 2.5. And I'm going to cut 3 of these. That's my binding. 2.5. What did we say about binding? Do we hate it, love it? I have to, you have to leave. Okay. Well, thanks for being here. I'm interested to see how it's done. Okay, yeah, let's do it. Absolutely. I machine sew the front and hand sew. Oh, you hand sew. Oh, God bless you. Yeah, if you're just sitting down in front of the TV or whatever. Love binding. Yeah, some people do. I know, we're like weirdos. I know a lot of people are like, oh, binding. I don't want to do it. It is satisfying, isn't it? Okay, we've got 2. We're going to do 3. That should be 90, right? I don't know. We're going to see what happens. I'm going to get rid of this salvage. I only have this really huge ruler, so let's get rid of the salvage. I'm just going to line something up here. We've got a lot, so we don't have to worry about taking a little bit off. There's one. And we only have salvage on one end here. We don't want any salvage, so let's just get rid of that. There's two. I sew to the back of my quilts and machine sew the front, and that's what we're going to do today. Okay. All right. Now we have to make these one long strip, right? So let's go to the machine and do that. Let's just take all of our strips. Let's grab them. Let's go to the machine. Machine. Don't need any pins or anything. I'm gonna change my foot though. This flange will get in my way. So I'm gonna change my foot to just the J foot or open toe foot, whatever is your favorite foot. Got my 3 strips on my lap here. I'm going to put one right side up. And I'm going to put the other, what is this, perpendicular? I'm going to put it like that on top of each other. So I'm just lining them up. Okay, and this is where my middle line comes in, right? Because I want to go here. No, I don't want to go there. Okay, this is how I remember how, because I'm going to cut it off. So if I went this way, I'd be cutting off. Yeah, it wouldn't work. So you want to go this way. Okay, so I'm going to line it up. You can pin it. It's a short little jaunt. And I can hold it with my hands until I get there. But you got this corner here needs, oh, you probably can't see. The corner of the bottom one, I'm lining up with the middle line. Okay, that's how I'm gonna, and then I put my needle down, my foot down, and I make sure my needle is lined up on that corner. Let's get it under there first. Okay, you can even put your needle down to hold it. Okay, I'm pretty good here, so I'm just going to go. And you can keep, you know, kind of peek underneath here, lift it up like that. Peek underneath there as you're sewing. I got to have my hand here, so hopefully, okay. This isn't going to be perfect, but so I'm just making sure that my corner underneath there is right up the middle. Let's see what we got. Don't have to back stitch or anything. And then we hold it like this. Yeah, it was a little off in the beginning, but that's not a big deal. So this is what you have. Okay. Now we got to do the other side. So let's see, we got to make one long strip. So I'm just getting the end of that one, putting it up. Putting this one, the third strip, right side together. I'm going to make sure I'm lined up here. Put my foot down. Put my needle down right at that corner. Make sure I'm right here. This one will be better. This one will be better because I'll hold on to it better. Still, I can lift this up and see if my point is still there. I'm still good. Just kind of peek under there as I go. There. And then we should have one long strip like that. Okay. You can do them end to end too. Doesn't matter. This one kind of distributes the, this way kind of distributes the seam over, you know, as you're wrapping it around. It's not one thick one. It just kind of wraps around so it's not as thick. I mean, that's the benefit, I guess. The benefit of doing it this way. So let's just get some scissors and we're just going to cut off. We're going to cut off those, we're going to cut this off. We've looked at it, we've made sure, yeah, it looks good. Always do that before you cut this off. Okay, and we're going to cut it off. About 1/4 of an inch. I'm not even worried about it. You can be precise, lay it down, put a ruler on there, do all that. You can do that. Some people like the process, you know. Others like quick and dirty. I'm kind of a little both. Some things I like the process and I'll go through it every time. And some things I'm just like. Now, you can finger press this, but we need to get these open. But because we have the iron, we can go ahead and iron that nice and flat. Again, it just helps with distribution in your binding so you don't have a big bulky spot. It just looks nicer in the end, I think. Oh, my cord got in the way. Sorry about that. Let me move this. I am all wrapped up in this cord. You know, I couldn't do this if I tried. There we go. Okay. I'm going to put it like this. See? Yeah. And we'll just iron that. We only have 2. If you had a long quilt, big quilt, this would take a little longer. So now we got to fold it in half. We got to fold it in half and iron it down. I usually put some best press on here, but yeah, I'm just going to do it. These irons are like really hot, so they're really gonna make it hold. But best press does help, you know, because you're going to be manipulating this quite a bit when we start putting it on. And this is a good way. These little projects are a good way to kind of develop your habits, your good habits with your binding. You know, if you're new to it especially, little projects are a lot easier too. Any questions? I'm not even looking, I'm sorry. I'm going to use my oh so delightful back. Oh! Well, I want to see it, Delta. I want to see it on I hope you're on the Facebook. Not fond of hand, no. No, not fond of hand sewing, me neither. Does the quilting go on top of the designs? Or is it done first? You know, looking at this, I would just quilt it like this, because if you could quilt this piece, I mean, you know, this piece, this piece, this piece, they're all in little pieces at that point. You know, I don't know what machine you have. You could do these if you wanted background, if you didn't want it over here. You could quilt these pieces, but you would have to quilt it with just the fleece, right? And then piece it all together. You would have these blocks, just the middle blocks, piece it all together. And then I know on my Solaris I can like tell it, you know, this, make a square around this on the machine, and then do background quilting that way. That might work. Otherwise, I mean, yeah, put it, if long as you're not using like a, bright color or whatever, if you're using a neutral color, I don't think it would hurt it at all to go over the design. I would love to see it though. Love to see it. If you try it, I would love to see it. And I think that these blocks are, they're not real big. They don't have a lot of room. I don't know. I don't know what quilting would look like. I'd be very curious to see that. I would imagine any quilting would look nice. Okay, so we've got this all. This is it for binding preparation. Okay, this is it. You've made your little binding strip. Let's get our beautiful, and let's bind it. Let's do it. We're all ready to go. Let's do it. Over to the machine. Okay, so we are going to get all these pins out of my way because I will knock them on the floor. And I've done that enough today. Okay. All right, got our binding. Okay. So when I bind, I start like on a long side in the middle. And, I put it on the back and I bring it around to the front. So let's go to the back. Okay, so I'm kind of in the middle there. I'm going to take my binding and I'm going to, about, I don't know, 8 inches or so behind the needle that won't be sewn down. Okay. That's what we're going to do. And I want my 1/4 inch foot, because we want to do a 1/4 inch. So let's put our 1/4 inch on. If you have a walking foot with a 1/4 inch, or, even without, that could be helpful. There we go. Okay, 2 things that I need. I'm going to put my foot down. I'm putting my foot down. Okay. I'm going to put my needle down. That's where I'm going to start. I've got about, 6 to 8 inches behind the needle loose back here, okay? You want that for the joining. 2 things I need. I need my purple thine and a friction pin. I'm going to need those for the corners, okay? Here we go. Plans to do first. Oh, that's a good idea. Oh, I'm excited. I'm excited to see that with quilting. All right, I'm just lining up the wrong edge. We want the we want the raw edges together. Okay. Again, 6 to 8 inches behind the needle. Okay. Foot down, needle down. Let's see how much I got. That's not. I don't like that. I want more. Foot up. Just move it down. Raw edges together. Foot down, needle down. Okay. All right. Here we go. Shouldn't hit any pins, right? Just in case. All right. So let's go 1/4 inch. Let's do a backspace. Okay. Now, I'm not worried about what color thread or what bobbin at this point. When I come around to the front is when I'm going to care about what color thread I'm using. Okay, I'll show you how I do the corners. Oh, this needs to be up here, yeah. Okay. Make sure I'm not going to hit a pin. I do have some pins in here. Okay. All right. So when my corner gets here on the bed of my machine, I can feel the edge of my quilt. I'm going to take this is a 1/4 inch. If you didn't know, the edge of the this square thing is a 1/4 inch square. So I'm going to line that up with the edge of my quilt on top of my binding, and I'm going to make a line. Okay, see my line? That's where I'm going to stop. Okay. I'm going to go up to that line. I can still see it in the little part of my foot here. One more. There we are. Now I'm going to take it and I'm going to turn. And what is it stuck out there? I'm going to sew off the corner. I'm just going to put it at that angle, point it at the corner and sew off. Cut my thread. All right. I'm going to fold this at that angle, lining up the edge. This is going to be, let me show you. If I'm out here, see how it's all one line. That's what we want. I want one line. And then we're going to bring it over and we're going to line it up with our edge here and our edge here. Okay? We're going to swing it around. And I'm just holding my fingers on it. And I'm putting it under the needle. Foot down. Okay. Get it right on the edge. Get everything right on the edge. Make sure, yep, they're all lined up. And I'm going to start sewing. Get over that hump. Make sure that I'm not hitting any pins. And off we go. Just lining up. I don't pin or clip my binding. Not until the front. I'll probably clip it on the front. I have a pin on here and oh, it's not in the way. Okay. Coming to a corner again. My purple thing. Find the edge with my nail. Put it on there. Grab my pin. Make a line. And there we go. And then I'm going to stop right on that line. There we go. Turn it at an angle towards the corner and sew off. And there's that. Fold this back. This is why we sew towards the corner, because it kind of holds it there. You don't have to do that. Oops, sorry, I bumped you. This was just how I was taught, so, or I probably learned from YouTube. I don't know. I don't know where I learned it. So again, I make this one nice line, flip it over my fingers, lay it flat, line it up with this, line that fold up there. This should fall in line. Turn it around. Holding my fingers on it. Okay. Putting it under the needle. And sew a few stitches, and then we'll get her all situated. Okay, off we go. Make sure I'm not running over any pins. That would make me sad. Oh, here comes a pin. Oh, he's okay. All right. I feel like I'm not getting my 1/4 inch here. I'm going to cut. And I'm just going to, yeah, I got way off. Look at me. Look at that. Okay. The good thing about this is all you have to do a little back stitch. Okay. Or not. I don't know what this machine is with the back stitch, but it hates me. But yeah, I can just go over that. Make sure I'm not going to hit that pin, because that'll all be inside the seam. Okay. I know what it is. It's this. It's not, it's falling back here, and there's not a solid piece of furniture. See, it's just, wow. I'm going to have to hold the back. I'm going to have to hold the back. Let's see. What is it with this machine and back stitching? There we go. Okay, I'm going to hold the back straight, because when it falls down in that hole, it just veers me off. So I'm going to have to go slower and hold the back up straight to get my 1/4 inch. What's this pin? We're good. Okay. Yeah, I feel like I'm getting my 1/4 inch now. This pin here come out. Hold on just a second. Okay, I've turned a corner again. 2 more corners. How are we doing? Thank you. I've never done any of these projects. I'm just watching and learning. Oh, good. Well, yeah, they're not intimidating. I mean, once you start doing them, okay, you're not going to want to stop. You're going to want to do them all. They're fun. Okay, I feel like I'm getting my 1/4 inch now. Okay, just gonna do our little turn. Oops, I am so sorry. Do I do a turn now? Turn her. And I'll show you how I join. But you know, I won't make you go through watching me sew the front, but I want you to see how I join. If you're not familiar with how to join the strips, there's a couple of ways to do it, and I'll show you both, but I'll do it the one way that I like to do it. Okay, one more corner. We're almost there. All right, let's mark our corner. And the reason I'm marking this because you want to stop about 1/4 of an inch away. If you have a foot that, you're proficient in and you can follow the marks on the foot, that would probably be a little easier, but this is just what I do. Just showing you all my bad habits. Take them or leave them, right? I already want to do them all. I know. You're just biding your time. Yeah, jump in. The water's warm. Okay, so my backing could have been put on a little better. I'm just kind of... Okay, so my backing is not lining up all the way with my... I want to line up with my project, not the backing if it's off. I'm not going to follow the backing. I got to turn around. I'm going to get in the way of the camera here. All right. Now I'm only going to go, I got some sticking out here. I'm not going to worry about that. I'm just going to sew from the edge of my project. There we go. It meets up down here. Okay. I am going to back stitch. And we're going to join, okay? Let's see if I can do this without making a huge mistake. This is how I learned. Take this pin out. All right, so I do it all on the bed here. I have turned my project to the side and I have my 2 flappy pieces. One way you can do it is cut this one a little short, maybe like, to here. Open this one up and put it in here. You can cut this one at an angle so you have a little less bulk. Get them snugged up and just keep on sewing. That's one way to do it. And, on like stuff like maybe a pot holder or, something like that, that's the best way to do it. I'm going to join these. Okay, so first thing I have to do is make this piece here, the piece on my right, the right side piece, needs to be the width of your, let me see if I could put this right, the width of your binding, which mine is 2.5, it needs to cover that space. So my binding's 2.5, I need to go from my edge of this one to 2.5, lay this down and cut it. They need to overlap the same measurement as your binding, this measurement. Okay, so I don't have a little ruler in here, so I'm going to do it. I need some scissors. I'm going to do it. Okay, so I'm just going to cut off a piece, right? Just cut it off. This should be 2.5 inches. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to lay it here, right? And I'm going to cut this And actually, when I do a ruler, I'm making sure those are lined up. When I do a ruler, I actually cut it 1/8 of an inch less than the width of my binding. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball that, and I'm going to cut it. Okay. See, it's a tiny bit shorter, and that's what I want because I want it to lay flat when I put it out. Okay. I want it to pull just a little bit. I'm going to take this one, I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to lay it on the bed of my machine. I am going to fold up my project so that I have, I think I put the foot down, that'll hold it. Okay. So that this isn't taut. I want it to be loose. And I'm going to take this and I'm going to open it up, and I'm going to put these right side together. Okay. It's fiddly. I'm not, you know, it is fit. I don't know if you guys can really see what I'm doing here. Can you see? You probably can't. Okay. Let me move this over. Let me move this over to where you guys can see what's going on. Okay. I have not left the bed of the machine. I have cut this piece to where they overlap the length of my, where's my camera? So maybe I should do this on the other board. Let's do it at the, so you guys can really see what's going on. This might be frustrating to watch. I do it at the machine. You can do it anywhere. Okay. But I think we're going to get a better view if we do it here. Let's see it again. Okay. So what I did was I cut off a piece, right? I just cut this piece off of here, like that. Cut it, opened it up, that's 2.5 inches. Laid it on top of here. Took my other piece, laid that on top, and I cut it. I cut it a little short because that's what I want. I want it to be taut, about 1/8 of an inch. It's probably a little much, but we'll see how it works out. Okay, pins at the ready. Pins at the ready. Maybe I can zoom in. Let me see, where am I at? Yeah. Okay. It's a little better. I know everything blends in, so let's bring the light over too. Okay. Now they're overlapping the width. They're overlapping the width of your binding. God, my mouth is dry. So sorry. Okay. I'm taking this one and I'm lying it wrong side up. Actually, no. Yeah. This is, okay. I don't think it matters. And I'm going to take this one and I'm going to lay it on top. No, I think it does matter. I think I'm going to do this one right side up. I'm going to do this one right side up. And I'm going to put this one wrong side up, right sides together, okay? They're perpendicular. Is that the right word? Yes, yes, much better. Okay, a little bit. So again, I've laid this one just flat, just like that. I took the other edge. You got to roll up your project to make them meet because it gets fiddly. So we are going to pin, and I like to pin, and pin. If I could get 10 pins in there, I'd do it. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is, so I'm thinking I want to sew here, right? I'm thinking that's the direction I want to sew. So I'm going to take my pins and I'm going to pin it in that direction, and I'm going to see if it lays right, because this is like just a little test to make sure that I don't sew it wrong, because that's a bummer when that happens. I don't like bummers. Okay, so you see where my pins are? They're this way, so they're kind of simulating my stitch. So now I'm going to close that up, and look, that's going to work. That's what I want to do. Okay, so now I know. So now I'm just going to pin it for sewing. And I'm going to line them up like this. Can you guys see? Am I good? And I'm going to pin each corner. Pin each corner. I'm going to pin over here on this side. I'm usually on a hard surface. I do this at the machine, but you can do it this way. So this is what we want, okay? And we're going to sew here, this corner to this corner underneath. We're going to sew. I'll even draw a line so you guys can see. What did I do with my pen? Oh, I've got lots of pens. Let's see. Let's just do this pen. What is this pen? Fine tip fabric marker. I don't know. So we're going to sew from this corner to that corner. This is what we're going to do, okay? That's where we're sewing. So let's try and get this to the machine without it falling apart or getting all discombobulated. We move you guys over. Oh, X out of that, do that. Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put everything underneath the machine like that. Okay, I've drawn my line, so now I remember. Okay. And you got it gets fiddly. And 1/4 inch foot. I'm going to leave it on, even though it might give me problems. Again, I'm lining up with that middle line here. Can you guys see? I'm going to line that corner underneath with that middle line, because that's what I want to follow. I didn't mark it very well. I just was kind of illustrating. Foot down. Put my needle in the corner. Needle down. Line up my point here. Let me see. Lining up my point, and I'm gonna sew point to point, corner to corner. Making sure I'm still lined up. There we go. And that should be it. Let's test it. This is always fun, right? You open it up. Ta-da! Look, it's going to lay flat. Isn't that nice? So then, I'm still at the machine because my cutting table and my iron in my room, I would have to get up and go over there. So I just do all of this at the machine. Okay, I'm just cutting like 1/4 inch or so. It's probably way more than that. And then I'm just going to finger press because I do want it open. You know, you could take this over to your iron, and then I'm just going to let it lie flat. And there it is. Yeah, we did it. Now we just sew. Okay, I'm sorry, this is going to get in the way a little bit. And where did we stop? We stopped up here. Put our foot down. And there we go. The hardest part about binding, and it's, if you could just remember which one goes on top, which one goes on bottom. Okay. Then it's not so hard. I'm going to have A little pucker. If you have a little pucker like that, it's not a big deal. This is why you want that 1/8 of an inch. But when I turn it over, you know, you can't hardly see it. So now you would just turn your, let's go back over here. Okay, we got our binding on. The hardest part of any project, right? So now I just bring it around, like so. And, oh, the bi-level foot. Who has the bi-level foot? The bi-level foot is, you gotta have it if you're ever doing binding. Let me see if she has one back here that I can show you. She sells them here. Yeah, they look, no, that's not it. She sells them here. I can't live without it when I'm doing binding because it allows me to just pedal to the metal, and I get the perfect, oh, here's one. I get the perfect it's perfect. This is the wrong side though. Right? Let's see. So I bring this over. Yeah, this is, so they have a left and a right, and I think this is the other side. Let me see if she has the other one. Oh, come on, have it in here. I really want to show you guys. You guys need this foot if you do binding. I think it's called the bi-level.
Where's your water cup?
Let me see if it's in this other box. Oh, I see one. This could be it. I see one. Okay. Is this it? Yes. Okay, this one. So you see, they're opposites, right? Like this one's the flanges on that side. You want this one, and I think it's, you know, the left. I think that's how left and right is how they go. So let me show you. I'm just going to show you how this works because I love it. So you have this here. You have it ironed and clipped and everything. You put your foot, I'm gonna clip it. Where's my clips? I know I have some. Well, anyway, this little flange part is recessed. There's a little lip under here. And this will ride on the edge of this binding. It gets in there and just stays as you're sewing. So I don't know if you can see that, but it just rides along that edge, and it just doesn't, you can't veer off. So you set your needle, I move it over to where I want it, like right on this edge here. And I can do pedal to the metal and I won't veer off because it just sticks. Just catches that lip and it won't come off, and you can just go fast. I love this foot. Yeah. So will you show how it works on the machine? Sure, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's take this foot off. Let me move you over. Yeah, we'll do a little bit. I'm going to put this foot on. Okay. I'm going to take my binding. Okay. So you take your binding, you fold it over to however you want it. And you put this foot down. And the edge of my binding is in this groove of this foot, okay? And that's where it's going to stay. It's not going to move. So I like to move my needle over to the very edge. Oh, wrong way. To the very edge. And of course, I lengthen my stitch to about a 3.5, and it's caught in that groove. This flange part is right sitting on the other side of this, so I'm going to put my binding where I want it. Don't want to cover my heart. And I don't want it that thick there. So I just want a thin binding on this side, and I would iron and make sure that it, you know, is sitting right where I want it. So now I can take this, and it's not going to leave that groove. My hands are way out here, and it's not leaving that groove. Look at that. Isn't that amazing? Now I'm going to cut and I'm going to show you how straight it is. I don't know if, can you see that? Can you see how it's just exactly there and it doesn't veer off in any way? Can you guys see that? I can't see what you're seeing right now. Let me see. Let me get closer. I need the light over here, huh? Let's see. Can you guys see how perfectly lined that is? And it was effortless to get that straight line. So that's hard for me to do. I can't do that without this foot. I cannot do it. And I can, and you saw me just pedal to the metal. Of course I had my machine at half speed, but I mean, it just doesn't veer off. It's so amazing. It's changed now. And on the back, you'd see it, you know, a little bit here. But I like this look on my quilts where it's on the front. Does that foot come with the... It'll work on all Baby Lock and Brother. Yes, absolutely. I have a Solaris. It works for me. This is an Avenir. It goes on here. I mean, it'll go all the way down to, you know, the small machines. It doesn't, as long as it has this shank. Yeah, how it clicks in. That's all you need. So what do you guys think? Are you going to make this? I'm so super excited. How do you go around the corner? Oh, okay. Let's do that. Here's my corner. So the first thing I'm going to do, well, you know, first thing I would do is I might cut some of that off. Okay? Let's cut some of that off. Just to get rid of some bulk. Don't cut your stitches, but okay. So I'm going to lay it down like this. I'm gonna fold one side and I'm gonna go all the way up. Can you guys see what I'm doing here? I can't see what you're seeing. I don't know. This angle on this machine is not that great. Let me see what you're seeing. So I'm gonna fold it like that, and I'm gonna come and I'm gonna fold it all the way up, and then I'm gonna fold it down. Oop, I got my thing in there. And then I'm going to meet these little parts here. And that's going to be my corner. Like that. I should do it on the other camera, huh? Let's do it on the other camera and actually use a clip and stuff. Let's do that. All right, let's go here. So let's see, I would take this and I would actually iron because we want it to lay nice and flat. Okay. And you see how it's, ooh, that's hot. I go all the way up like that, covering my stitches. And then I'm going to bring this corner down, and you can use something, you know, lay something here, lay your corner down. There's your corner, okay? You need a clip. I have one. Oh, here's my R. I was looking for my R. I'm so glad I found that. That's a big clip. Oh, here's a little clip. So I'm going to clip that like that, and then there's my corner. Okay. And then we'll go around that corner. Let me clip here too. Here. Just to hold it. Okay, so that's what it's going to look like. Right? So let's see. On the machine, with this foot on here, I am buzzing along with this foot because it's amazing. I'm not even thinking about where my stitches are landing because I know this foot is keeping me in line. Okay, so I'm coming up on my corner, right? Here we go. Coming up on my corner. Now I'm going to take my clip out and I'm going to hold it with, you know, my stiletto. I got my purple thing. And I want to go one stitch over that meeting of the corner where the crease is. I'm going to go one stitch over. That's all I'm going to do. Just going to see, I can see it in there. I can see my little, where they're meeting, and I'm there. Okay, I've done one stitch over, and then I'm just going to flip it. And I'm going to be pedal to the metal again because it just holds it right in line. And there's our corner, all secure. Look at that. That's a nice corner. What do you think? You guys see that? Yeah. Get some light on the subject. See? This foot is amazing to me. And you know, you can move your needle over even closer to the edge if you wanted to, as far as it'll go. You know, it's wherever you want this to meet. I just love this foot. It's a great foot. It is fantastic, isn't it? I love it, and it looks so nice when you're done. Of course, you know, I would have green thread and, you know, that kind, you know, but this foot just makes it so easy. You got to have it. Got to have it. If you do binding at all. Well, there we go. We're all done. Well, I'm going to finish this up later. I'm not going to bore you with just me going around. We did enough, right? Oh, I'm not the wrong camera. Oh, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Right? Did it switch? It switched. We're okay. Yeah, there we go. I forget about the delay. All right, you guys. I am going to sign off for now. You have the left and the right. Yes, yes. And you can go in both directions when you have the left and the right. You know, like if you're doing a strap. And you know, when you sew the one side of the strap and then you go down the other side of the strap, you get those, like, I don't know, little, I don't know, it's like it pushed the material a little bit, so you get these little, I don't know, it just doesn't look as good. You can go both sides with those feet if you have the left and the right. They're wonderful. You're welcome. Thanks for being here, guys. I so appreciate each and every one of you. You guys are awesome. And I will be back soon. I will be doing the needle notebook and the pincushion. I have the pincushion here I can show you. Oh, I have them both. This is what we're going to be doing next, which is also part of this, these designs. This is the little needle notebook. I put extra pages in it. It only calls for 2, but I put extra in there. So if you want to, you know, each page a different kind of needle, that would be awesome. You know, and here's a little pin cushion. Isn't that cute? Yes, and don't forget, make a pillow. Make a pillow. Look at this pillow. Isn't it great? Oh, let me back out the camera. There. Now you can see my pillow. Isn't she cute? She came out so cute. My corners are perfect here. Look, I can really do it. I can do it. So cute. I love it. You could do this in all kinds of color, whatever your color theme is. Just put on an envelope backing. I love it. All right, you guys take care. I am saving this class for future reference. Good. Okay. Yes. Yes. Binding. It's once you get down, you know, where to set those, and it's not a problem. But it is something you have to do over and over. I had to do it, watch videos over and over until it's in my brain. I know, the pillow is so cute. It made a 12-inch pillow. I mean, that's a perfect 12-inch pillow right there. Yeah. And you could even put like piping on there. I mean, you could really dress it up. Make a flange. Make a flange with some of the materials are so pretty. Yeah. You have a great weekend too. Happy Memorial Day, you guys. Yeah, happy Memorial Day. Go grill some burgers and get out in the sunshine. Oh, you're very welcome. You're very, very welcome. You know, if I can help at all, and that makes me feel good. Thank you. All right, you guys. Have a wonderful weekend. Happy Memorial. Stay safe out there. You know, there's going to be a lot of people driving around. So be careful. All right, you guys.